Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Hangar podcast. This week on the show, Cullen and I sit down and chat with members of the Captain Sachs Foundation, a foundation set up to honor the memory of Captain John J. Sachs, also known as Ball, who tragically passed away in an Osprey crash 2 years ago in 2022. Cullen and I chatted with the members of the foundation about all things, including the foundation, John's life, the aircraft he flew, the people he served with, and his incredible aviation story and wonderful journey. So, we hope you guys enjoy this week's episode of Hangar Talk. Colin and I thank you for watching, and we thank the members of the Captain Sachs Foundation for their time and commitment to honor our memory of this wonderful man and chat with us and our viewers about all things aviation related. So, we hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll talk to you on the back end.
Today, we'll be interviewing some members of the Captain Sachs Foundation. So
And
here we go.
Hello everybody, and hello John, welcome.
Hey, how are you doing, man?
Good.
How's it going,
How
John?
are you doing?
Hey, I'm good. Just had a pretty busy day, but other than that, glad to be back. Still running and gunning, so it's pretty good.
That's
Oh, yeah.
awesome.
Thank you
This is
again for joining us.
Yeah, honestly, it's the least I can do. Super passionate about this. There's Amber.
and hello
Hey, Amber, how's it
and
going?
welcome to Hangar Talk.
Thank you for having us.
It's our pleasure. So everybody, this is the Captain Sachs Foundation. It's a foundation set up in honor of the late great Captain John J. Sachs. So let's get a little bit of intel and detail on the foundation and the scholarship program. So.
I think you cut out for a second. Do you want me to hop on and start talking about it?
Yeah, so everybody, let's get some detail on the foundation as well as the scholarship program that this foundation has to offer.
Yeah, so it was founded in honor of Captain John Sachs. That's my husband. His call sign was Ball. I have John on the line with us right now. He's one of our board members. He's a V-22 pilot and a Marine. We have Sasha that's about to join. He's another one of our board members. He's a pilot as well, but he's in the civilian side of things, working with a defense contract company, and he went to Embry-Riddle with John. But yeah, John was a Marine Corps pilot, an Osprey pilot. He unfortunately went down in 2022 alongside 4 other Marines, Nick,
That's
Nathan,
horrible.
Seth, and Evan. Yeah, and we wanted to honor him somehow, and people kept asking, how can we help? How can we help? And it became just help us continue writing his story, help us with his legacy. And so that's when the foundation was started. We offer aviation scholarships to our applicants. We gave out over $25,000 last year. We're slated to match that this year as well. And it's all raised through donors, usually just, small donors like military families, aviation enthusiasts, those that knew and loved John, people that had just heard about us naturally, as well as selling memorial items in our shop to honor him and help tell his story.
That's amazing, and congratulations on the goal of 25,000. That is just amazing.
Yeah, that is just more than amazing.
Yeah.
We're very
What he
grateful.
Oh yeah.
So
I would say along with that, the amount of applications we have on basically every biannual basis is absolutely insane. And then the number keeps going up. Every single time we start another application process, the amount of applicants and the amount of well-qualified applicants is just absolutely astounding to me.
yeah,
Yeah, and we wish we could help everyone. Oh, Sasha's trying to join, by the way. We wish.
Unfortunately, Instagram only lets 4 people in alive.
Oh, okay. I
Oh.
thought it was for people that are joining you guys on the podcast thing. Sorry.
It's all good.
yeah, it
Okay.
has a limit of 4. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe what we could do is have you ask John questions in the first half, and then he could swap out for Sasha for the second half. Is that okay?
That is perfect.
Yes, that is perfect. So, as a pilot, what kind of training were you guys involved in for the cargo delivery? Did you guys fly like the T-34s and things like that the Marines use as well as the Navy?
So yeah, so the T-34 got phased out a little bit ago. We're in the T-6 Texan 2 now. So kind of what a Marine pilot's progression looks like is you start off going through Officer Candidate School, which is our version of boot camp and indoctrination training. Then you hop right to what's called the Basic School, where you learn to be a provisional rifle platoon commander. You're outside a lot, shooting guns, doing the infantry thing, the Marine thing. After that, you go directly down to Pensacola, Florida, and you start what's called IFS, Initial Flight Training School, which is kind of flying Cessnas. Then you go and hop through Aviation Preliminary Indoctrination, API. And that's where you hop in the pool, get your swimming in. You have 6 weeks of intensive courses where you're studying every day, every night, just trying to get through. And then you make it, and then you hop to the Texan 2 during primary flight school. And basically that lasts for anywhere between 4 to 6 months. At the end of it, that's actually where you compete to find out what you're going to be flying as a Marine Corps or a naval aviator. So that's when I found out I was going to fly an Osprey. I always wanted to be an Osprey pilot, so it worked out really well for me.
That's amazing. Very interesting.
Yeah. Ultimately, flight school as total took about 2.5 years. As you can see what Amber's showing, you got the different training aircraft. John actually flew every single training aircraft the Marine Corps has to offer.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Wow, that is.
And
I
John
did not
in
know
our live
that.
flew the T6 Texan, and then we have the TH-57, Bravo and Charlie, the T-44, and of course the Osprey. So I wanted to make sure I
Nice.
had the models so you guys could kind of visualize what it was.
Wow, that's actually awesome, Amber. Thank you for showing us.
And then
with that-
can you
Go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry about that.
No, shoot, go ahead.
Can you walk us through what the swim training was like?
That's a very common question. So the swim training lasts for about, I think it was like 2 weeks. Once again, it's been about 8 years for me since I went through. But what it starts off with is literally just kind of seeing how you can swim. You run through like almost like a swim test, which is just, hey, can you swim? And then they start putting the gear on you. They put the flight suit on you. They make you do laps in a flight suit. They do some conditioning training.
Ooh.
And then eventually what happens is you end up doing a mile flight suit swim. So you're swimming a mile underwater or in the water with a flight suit and your boots on, just trying to make it. And then once you do that, you go back to API, go study. And the last week of the API is when you go to the dunker, which everybody's seen videos of. You put all your gear on. They put you in a nice little hulk of an aircraft. They flip you upside down underwater, and then they start blindfolding you. And you have to get out. They do ejection seat training, dragging you through the water in a parachute, how to get out from underneath the parachute, all of it. So that's kind of what it's like. And then you have to do that every 4 years for the rest of your career.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
That right
And
there alone just sounds harsh.
yeah, that does sound harsh. And
the dunker part, just the dunker part. You don't have to do the mile flight suit and swim anymore.
oh, okay, yeah. What was the pressure like? Were you nervous leading up to that?
I grew up surfing. I'm a San Diegan, born and raised, so
Nice.
I love water. People that do have like issues with water confidence usually get through. They're super great about identifying people that, hey, like this person doesn't have that much experience in the water, and you can remediate and remediate and remediate, and they kind of like push you to get through, and they'll teach you how to do it. So I really didn't see anybody drop out of flight school for swim.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting to know about. And did you guys go through the helicopter training where it's flipped upside down underwater and you try to get out?
That's exactly what I was talking about. That dunker, they put you in a hulk of an aircraft,
Oh,
all your gear on. They
yeah,
put
okay, that's
on
what
you.
that's called.
Yeah. So it's
Oh,
called
that's the
helo
dunker.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
and
I
then
always thought it was different.
yeah. So they're together, and then that's the recurrent training you do every 4 years.
Oh, okay, interesting to know about.
Yeah.
And so do you guys, both of you, and come from a military background? Did anybody else in your family serve?
Oh yeah. So
So
my dad.
John's grandpa. Oh, sorry, John, you go ahead.
Oh no, go Amber.
Oh, John's grandpa was a radio man with the Coast Guard, and his grandmother worked with the Department of Defense. My dad was in the Air Force, and my uncle and my grandpa also served. And so, but John, since he was a kid, just dreamed of being a military pilot specifically.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing. How about you, John?
Yeah. Hey. So my dad was a commander in the Navy. He started off as a fighter pilot who flew the F-9 Cougar. So super long ago, right at the end of the Vietnam War, and then he hopped over to the DC-9 and flew cargo transport. So he's a huge reason why I became a pilot. I remember going to the Miramar Air Show ever since I was born, basically. Every year they pulled me out of school. It'd be a free day off school for me to go roam around the air show and actually get my hands on some aircraft. And that's really what just grew and drove my passion for aviation, just like Johnny had.
To be honest
That's
with you, I've
amazing.
always done that when Niagara Falls had the air show. My mom would always get me out of school on either the Thursday or the Friday, and we'd go out, we'd watch the practices, we'd watch the arrivals. It was
Awesome.
And same for me. I always took Thursday and Friday off, and Thursday and Friday now for media day for Miramar, and I've always gone all weekend. So, I heard you guys were at Miramar. Did you guys have a booth there?
So
The Purple Foxes did.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so one of our board members actually flew in the air show. So I was telling you guys, I'm like, if you happen to see a poster with this guy's face on it, go up to him and say, I don't know if you can say SHIT, but go up to him and say, give a hoot.
Yeah.
That's the motto for the Purple
It's
Foxes.
fine.
So
It's
okay,
fine.
give a shit.
Yeah.
Hell
Yes.
yeah, brother.
Yeah, that's amazing. I could only go Friday, and I unfortunately ran out of time. So next time.
For sure.
Sure. So, do you guys ever visit schools and like do talks at like schools to other high schoolers, even middle schoolers who may want to pursue a career in military aviation?
We haven't yet. We have talked about maybe doing something special at Embry-Riddle, which of course people there are already passionate about aviation. Sasha, who will come on in a little bit, he went to Riddle with John and he can speak more about that. As far as, going around to colleges and high schools, it's a little challenging because 7 of our board members are active duty Marines. And one of them also works full time in the defense space. And then I, of course, I'm a mom of 2 who also works full time. So I wish we could. I hope that we get the chance to. But that's where spreading awareness through doing, these kind of interviews and just saying, please check out our website, please send it to someone.
That's amazing, and I do hope you guys get that opportunity to teach my generation and Colin's generation, who are not really don't think that aviation's important and why it's important to
Yeah.
preserve
Because
this
aviation
history.
is very important in our lives, and our lives, and we really need more people into aviation and whatnot to pursue a career, because literally, especially with the pilot shortage and whatnot that's going on, we really need more people into the aviation industry and actually would, care about everything in this world going on with aviation and whatnot.
100%.
John was a flight instructor too before he went into the Marines. And so he would say, it doesn't feel like I'm working a day in my life, because he just got to go up and talk to people about flying, get to show it to them, and also seeing them progress in their training, something that maybe they didn't feel like they could do initially. Suddenly they're able to do it, and then more. And he would just come home every day so energized about that. So we need more people with that kind of passion. And we're hoping the foundation can help spread that.
Wow, that's fantastic. I really do envy him a little bit. That's amazing.
Yeah, he was 1 in a million. I wish you could have talked to him. He would have loved to talk to you guys.
Yeah, I would have loved to meet him too and chat with him. My dad actually served in the Marine Corps.
Nice. That's awesome.
Awesome.
Thank him for
What did
his
he do?
service from us.
Hey, I'll tell him that. He really appreciates that. He served for 4 years with HMX-1. I don't know if you guys have heard of that.
No way.
Yep.
Yep.
I did not know he served for HMX.
Yep. And he actually met President Bill Clinton. There's a picture of him shaking his hand when he was a young Marine in the Oval Office.
That's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
That is
I'm not sure if you knew
so
this,
cool.
but as an Osprey pilot, you can go fly for HMX-1. They have green and white Ospreys. They're actually one of the best maintained and nicest Ospreys in the entire military.
I saw one of them at Buffalo, actually, when Biden came.
Yep, the green Ospreys are basically to carry around his entourage. It's a great gig if you're an Osprey pilot.
They're literally some of the most beautiful Ospreys I have ever seen.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
When I just randomly got out of school the one day, and then as soon as I we were like, president's coming in the next day. Let's see if we got anything coming in, like, any government aircraft. So we got over there. We saw like the little White Hawk, and I'm like, oh, okay, then we got a White Hawk. And then next thing you know, 3 seconds later, an Osprey shows up out of the blue.
Yeah, that's
That's
exactly
great.
what
Yeah, they are the most beautiful ospreys I have ever seen. So
Yeah.
Yep.
If you have any
And
Osprey related questions, John's your guy for that, by
yeah.
the way.
yeah, yeah.
So
So you ask,
so
Colin.
John, talk about
yeah.
the mission of the Osprey. What was the Osprey built for?
So I make the joke that we're the jack of all trades, master of none. We really are great. So we're meant for troop transport. That is what we do. We bring combat-loaded troops, supplies, and equipment into landing zones in austere conditions. It's what we're bred to do. We do it during the day. We do it at nighttime, all weather, anywhere in the world. So realistically, we have a 12-hour flight window, and we can continue flying past that. And that's just literally based off the fact that we can air-to-air refuel as well. So we almost have an unlimited window. And what it comes down to is the pilot's endurance and the crew chief's endurance in the back. So what my career has looked like so far with like my missions. So I deployed last year on the Marine Expeditionary Unit. We went to the Middle East for a little bit, and then we were kind of just waiting for it to see if anything was going to happen with Israel and Yemen, and then we headed up to the Mediterranean Sea. We did a lot of troop transport, a lot of supply transport. What's kind of cool right now is the Marine Corps is kind of playing with us. They're putting giant bags of fuel in the back of us, and we can actually refuel other aircraft on the ground. That's kind of like a lily pad effect. So that's kind of what we'll be doing for the next like foreseeable future. Other than that, we just pick up troops. We can carry anywhere between like 18 to 24 combat-loaded troops at any time. We fly them into the zone, take up a bunch of dust, and we're in the enemy's backyard before they even know it.
Wow,
That's awesome.
that's
Yeah.
really cool. Have you ever done any cargo transport when you were flying an Osprey?
Tons of it. We're great at it. I was on a boat, so the boat always requires a lot of food, a lot of stuff. Mail was a huge thing. So what a lot of my days on the ship looked like was I'd take off with another pilot, fly to any country that had a runway where our mail was sitting. We'd load up mail, load up aircraft parts, ship parts, and people that need to get the boat and fly them back. Another big role was we were picking up ambassadors and foreign dignitaries to kind of go have a meeting with our ship's captain, with what we were doing, why we were there, and just doing foreign relations. So I carried some very high-ranking generals, very high-ranking ambassadors. Yeah.
That is awesome.
And they're
That's
always amazed
amazing.
by the Osprey. It's a one-of-a-kind aircraft.
Yeah,
Yeah, it sure is.
yeah.
So did you ever so during flight school, like did you and John, so first of all, when do you and John first met? Like what did you guys have the same things in common like you did today or
Uh, Yeah, so I met John back in TH-57 training, so helicopter training. He was always just a little bit ahead of me, even after he moved from jets back to helicopters to become an Osprey pilot. So I ran into him there. That was right when COVID hit, so it was probably, I think, like March or April of 2020. Didn't see him because he finished helicopters before me for a while. Ran back into him when we were doing our multi-engine training back in Corpus Christi, Texas. And then where I really became close friends with him, we worked in the same office at our training squadron for the Osprey, which is VMMT 204 over in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. And I think what really made us like good friends was his sense of humor, and I was just clicked. John had a knack for saying the funniest thing at the exact correct time, and it would just kill everybody in the office. There'd always be like an awkward pause, then you hear Johnny from the background, and everybody would like just start cracking up, just dying. So that's kind of what brought us together. We both had a love for we both had Forerunners. He's one of the reasons why I got a Forerunner. Then also, and if I'm not sure if you guys have ever seen it, he has an amazing Forerunner that Amber still has. And then we loved hunting, so kind of grew up like that.
And
that's
girl
amazing.
dads.
Yep,
And
we were
you're both girl
dads.
dads.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I found out I was having a girl in the office, and I was kind of freaking out because I never knew how to handle a girl. I was hoping for a boy. I was like, "You're having a girl," and I just remember he's like, "You're gonna be okay." I love being a girl dad, and he made me feel way better about it.
Aw.
Oh, that's
Aw.
great.
And all right, I'm so happy I have a girl.
Yeah.
So,
That's amazing.
yeah. So that was
So
kind of my relationship with Johnny.
That's great, man.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
how was like did you guys have like, if you could give any advice to like even current Osprey training pilots right now, like young pilots, what
Yeah.
advice could you give them to help them their training experiences get better?
Uh,
So sorry about that.
oh no, you're good.
It like
I would say
popped out
just
of my ear.
study hard. Oh yeah, you're good. Study really hard. Flight school is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Sometimes it feels like a sprint. Even in the civilian side, sometimes it can feel like a sprint. Study hard and know your stuff because you never know when you're going to be the one that everybody's looking to for the right answer. And that's when it really comes down to it. One of the things I loved about the Osprey is it was a crew concept. I had a co-pilot with me. I had two crew chiefs in the back minimum, and the amount of times you get to work as a team and try to figure out. But ultimately, what it came down to was when you're the senior ranking officer or you're the senior pilot and the pilot in command, they're looking at you to make a decision. You have to make the correct decision. So study hard, take it very seriously, and then just enjoy flying, man. Like flying the Osprey and flying in general is one of the things you don't get to do forever, especially in the military. So every minute I had flying, all my problems went away, and I was the happiest guy in the world. To this day, the only times I feel truly free is when I'm on my motorcycle and when I'm up in the air. So
That's great.
That
That's really good advice
that
too,
is
sir.
awesome.
yeah.
And like, were you like great at school? Like, were you like a good studier? Because I was wanting to ask that because I'm not really the best like study guy. I'm not really a good test taker. So, were you good at school? Like, did you take tests well? Did you handle that all that well?
So everybody always says you have to be really good at math, really good at science and physics to be a pilot. I'm horrible at math, horrible at physics. I got my degree in criminal justice from the University of Mississippi. So I was nervous about the same thing growing up. A, growing up, and B, when I actually got into flight school, I was with a bunch of engineers. And no, it worked out fine. Realistically, the amount of math you do is completely manageable. You do study hard, you study a lot, but your brain actually gets better at it as you go on. So, and it kind of falls under one of those things. If you're really passionate about it, you'll make it happen. And that's kind of what it came down to. I actually didn't see that many people fail out of flight school for academics. You got onesies, twosies, and then the most people that failed out of flight school failed during the flight portions.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's recommended that you be good at math and physics, but really you don't have to be good at math and physics.
100%. I am horrible at public math, and to this day, I still carry a calculator
Oh
with me
my
when I fly.
God, same here. Oh my
Yep,
Yeah,
God.
same here.
I have a
The
calculator
math
on
that
me.
we're learning nowadays does not make sense at all. So
I can see that.
I
But yeah, no,
literally just sitting there in class like, what?
Yeah, me too.
Like
yeah, no,
100%.
you guys will be fine. Once again, it just comes down to like how much you actually love flying. That's really where I saw
Yeah.
people fail out is they joined the Navy and or the Marine Corps. They were like, oh well, they said I could be a pilot, so I guess I'll try it. Versus the people that just absolutely love it, and you can tell the difference very quickly.
Yeah. Good advice too. And speaking of flying, actually, Cullen and I are both taking flying lessons right
That is
now.
true.
Dude, that is absolutely fantastic. I came into the Marine Corps with zero flying experience, even though the fact that my dad was a pilot. I was originally a ground contract. I wanted to be a infantry officer. So, and then I ended up getting my eyes fixed. So, kind of along those lines, just don't give up. I kind of resigned myself pretty early when my vision went bad that I couldn't be a pilot. And then I got LASIK, and now I've been flying for about 7 years. So, yeah, just
Awesome.
keep it up.
Yeah,
Don't stop
and worth
flying.
mentioning too, like John also went through a similar route. I mean, he had to get LASIK. He had an astigmatism in his eye, and it was this really
Ooh.
long road because he came home from college, and it was about a 2-year process to get his packet in front of them at OCS. And by the time it got in front of them, they said, "Hey, you're a little bit older than the age." So he had to get an age waiver. So he basically went through this long process, but he never gave up. And that's what he would tell anyone is just be relentless, pursue your passion, never give up. If someone tells you no, find a way around it as best you can. And that's
That's
that's also
ex-
one of the things we look for with applicants too, people that are just relentlessly pursuing it and have the passion for it.
that's exactly what Tyler Davies told me, the one former Blue Angel pilot. That's exactly what he told me, word for word. Whenever someone
Oh,
tells
wow.
you no, just find a way around it.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Hmm.
And
Oh, yeah.
best advice I've received, it's from a pilot named Chuck Coleman. He told me, keep your ego in check. You never know that a good day can turn into a bad day like that.
Yeah, there's a old pilot adage. You have old pilots and you have bold pilots, but you don't have any old bold pilots.
Yep, I've heard that
Love
before. That
that.
is very great advice. So another question about John, actually. Did he have a personal favorite trainer aircraft he flew?
Was the T6. So he
Ooh,
was like, if I had to go back and train anyone, because he flew the T-44, T-45, TH-57 B and C, and the T6. But he's like, I would love to go back to Pensacola, get to fly the T6, get to have fun. Because when he was an instructor, he was, up in Cessnas and Pipers mainly, and the T6 has some similarities to that, but it is different.
Yeah.
And but of course, like the Osprey was his favorite. He loved the Osprey. He called it the future of aviation. Like he loved flying it. He loved his life, and he got to do what he loved, and that's something we can all be super thankful for.
yep. I agree with that 100%.
And one thing with the T6 nobody really talks about, it's an acrobatic aircraft. It can actually outperform a P-51.
What?
So when you walk out, so when you like go to primary flight school, they give you a G suit, they give you the full top gun gear. I'm talking mask, helmet, everything. And your first flight in that thing, it's like taking off in a rocket ship. It's absolutely insane. And then about 3 weeks later, you get to take the keys for yourself and go fly alone without an assistant.
Wow.
You pass your check ride. You get to go do your solo, nothing acrobatic, nothing crazy. You're literally just flying around for a little bit, go do some landings, and then you head back home. And then about 2 weeks after that, if you go straight to the aerobatic syllabus, you get to go do loops, barrel rolls, everything you can imagine. And you're just up there for about an hour and a half, just spinning, making yourself as airsick as possible.
And
That's
by the way,
great.
the hack for air sickness, if anyone wants to know, is peanut butter and banana sandwiches. That's what I would make sure John had packed just in case he was doing something crazy, because if it comes back up, it doesn't taste that bad.
Oh,
Yeah.
So if anyone needs a hack,
Okay. Got it.
Oh,
Thank you for that
oh
advice.
yeah, especially when we hit those air pockets in the morning. Like literally, you're out there and you don't even know, and the next thing you know, you just hit a pocket, and then it's just like jostling you around, and I'm like, oh, shit,
Yeah.
like literally. That's literally what happened on my last flight. Like we were just going around and we were just practicing patterns, and then next thing you know, we hit this pocket and then it started jostling us around, and we, believe it or not, we almost did a full 90-degree roll for a split second, and we're just flying straight. Next thing you know, we hit the pocket. We're like, oh shit. So then we try and roll out, and then it hits us again, and it was like, yeah, we'll put this flight on hold. So we just flew home. We ended the flight like 10 minutes early.
Yeah, I've gotten air sickness a few times, but I've gotten used to it pretty much. On the last flight, I didn't get sick at all, and it kind of helped me because I ate like light foods before that. Now, question for you, Amber. Have you done any flight training? Have you ever gone up in like general aviation aircraft?
yes. So John, as a CFI, he would take me up and practice his lessons. So I didn't get any actually logged time from him. I wish I would
Oh,
have. But
ah, darn.
actually, yeah, after he passed away, gosh, I can't remember when it exactly was. I want to say it was near the 1 year anniversary. I started going up and I flew for a few months out here at the airport John used to instruct at. And, I got to do takeoffs and landings and things he would be super proud of me for, like learning how to deal with stalls and things like that. But I hit a point where I was like, you know what? I need to hit a pause. Like, I'm a mom of two. I need to focus on my kids because flight training, if you're not immersing yourself in it, you might not be safe. And for me, being safe for my kids and for John is so important. So
I don't
it's on
Yeah,
pause for
know.
now.
Yeah, I don't know if you believe in this, but he was probably looking down on you from heaven, and he was probably smiling at you.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I told my friends, I was like, I feel so close to him when I'm up there. And Kelsey, who was Nicholas Losapio's fiance, she's been doing flight training, and I'm just cheering her on. I'm like, I cannot wait for you to earn your private pilot, and I'm really proud of her. So if anyone wants to follow her journey as well, check out Purple Skies Foundation and Kelsey's page.
I will
uh,
jot that down. I
same
will
here. That's
I will
amazing.
shoot her a follow right as soon as we are done with this podcast.
Awesome. Yeah, she follows you guys. So,
Oh, okay, cool.
yeah.
Awesome. Thank you
Purple,
to
what was
her.
it? Purple Skies?
Yep, Purple Skies Foundation. She founded that after the mishap as well to help with post-mishap support, regardless of your marital status. Because her and Nick, they were engaged to be married, and that in many ways, like I call her your Mrs. Sloppy. And it's so hard because they didn't have that piece of paper. And so she started that foundation to provide support and education and resources. And she's super passionate about it. We love her. So definitely check it out.
Awesome. Will do.
Awesome,
And I
awesome.
think we're about halfway through if we wanted to let Sasha join. Is
All
that
right.
okay?
Righty.
All right.
Well,
Thank you so
thank
much,
you, John, for
John.
coming
Yep.
on.
Thank you, John,
Yeah,
for coming on, sir.
absolutely. Have fun with
Yeah,
Sasha.
we will see you next time.
Yep.
Later,
See you,
guys.
sir. Bye-bye.
Bye, John. Pretty cool
Oh,
guy.
so we'll let
Okay.
Pretty cool guy.
Sasha request, I guess. Yeah,
Okay,
this is our
I added
first
it.
time going live, and this is my first time ever doing social media live, so I'm just kind of
Oh,
figuring it out as I go.
Oh,
well, welcome to the
okay.
family.
Yeah, welcome.
Thanks. Yeah, and I'm sitting here with John's gear, by the way, while we're waiting for Sasha.
Oh,
So,
Oh,
yeah.
John,
We'll talk about that in our
John,
photo review later on.
yeah. So he took his buddy's gear up that day. So this is actually John's gear. So it has his initials all over it, and I got a replica of his helmet made with his purple custom visor. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's
that's
cool.
just pretty epic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's between my kids' rooms. So we like to come in here sometimes and have story time next to Daddy's gear and stuff like that.
Oh,
Story
that's
time next to
awesome.
Daddy's gear. Oh my God,
Yeah,
that is the cutest thing I have ever heard.
yeah.
That's
I'm an uncle
awesome.
myself. I'm a three-time uncle.
Oh, that's
So,
awesome. Yeah,
yeah.
it's so much fun, especially if they have a passion for flying too, because then you get to instill that into them and see them look up and point at the planes. It's
hmm
awesome.
As I would always say, because this is what my mother always did to me after my grandfather passed away in 2013. Whenever there was a train going by, my mother always said, "Oh, Grampy sent the train," and now it would be Daddy sent the plane to fly over you.
Yep, yeah, and we get them all
Mhm.
the time at Lincoln Airport
That's
where he instructed. And
yeah.
sometimes, because I FlightWare, so I'll pull up FlightAware and I'll tell them, this is what that plane is how high they are, how fast they are, and also like that's a plane from the flight school that your dad instructed at, so maybe he could have flown in that one.
Mhm.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Get off. If you're using a computer, it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Go to your cell phone.
Yeah. Go to your cell phone because CaptainSaxFoundation.org. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's our website. That's also where the scholarship application is, and we have FAQs about eligibility.
So,
You don't have to be military service, like you don't have to even be affiliated to the military. We get applicants, even people that are teenagers. We basically say if you're eligible for the program you're applying for, then you're eligible for our scholarship.
awesome.
That's great.
How is the scholarship free or does it have a cost to it?
So it's totally free to apply, and then our board is made up of the 8 pilots. They're the ones that vote on it. So I don't even vote on who gets it because, I would struggle so much with
Because
being able to say
uh,
no.
I was gonna say if it's like free, then of course I'm gonna apply right after this live video.
Yeah, no,
100%.
we want as many people to apply as we can, and if people don't get it in the round they apply for, we welcome them to reapply and to come back. We actually were able to give out scholarships to 2 people this time that weren't selected in the previous round, but they came back and reapplied.
Aw- Awesome.
Awesome.
Great for them to do that again. So you can do it as many times as you want, correct?
Yeah, you can keep applying over and over and over. Our goal is to expand the reach of John as far as we can. So, obviously, like if we have someone that's applied before, they might not get as much preference if they reapply because we want to give someone new a chance. But at the same time, flight training's so expensive, as you guys know. I mean, John, he partially funded his own education through working as a student employee, grants, scholarships, you name it, he did it. Student loans even, and it is really hard and it's really financially taxing. So we just want to help as much as we can, as many people as we can.
Yep, that's great, and I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for doing that.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. We are especially thankful that all of you are doing that. Literally.
Well,
Yep,
it's giving our love a place to go. Because a
Yeah.
lot of ways, as you know, losing your grandpa too, it's like your grief is you need a place to put your love. And it's a way that we can still show our love for John. Because
yep,
he loved mentorship too. I mean, he would literally come home, long day, exhausted, working like 10, 12 hours, and then he'd get a text from someone like, "Hey, I have questions about flying. Can you help me with something? Can you guide me through this?" He would always take the call every
that,
single
that's
time. Like,
great.
Yeah. Him and I, it seems like him and I would get along 100%. Because
Yeah,
I'm
same,
the
same
exact
here with
same
me.
way. Like a young kid actually came up to me a few days ago when I was playing spotting, and he goes, "Are you working on your license?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And he goes, "Do you have anything you could tell me about what flight training is like?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, it's fun. You would love it. Like you get to just go up, and then next thing you know, the world is your oyster. You can just do whatever you want, fly whatever you want, really, and it's literally one of the most fun things you could ever do.
yeah, we
Yep.
always called it a magic carpet.
A magic
It's like,
carpet. That's
yeah.
the exact truth.
Yeah, because he would take me on little trips and stuff like that. Like one time we flew down to LA and went to Disneyland, and
Oh,
that was super cool. We
nice.
flew IFR on the way down, and it was so cool getting to see him do that. Like I was like, I can't see anything, and you're still flying. This is so cool. But yeah, like even with our kids, like I love seeing kids in the back of people's airplanes because that's what we plan to do. We wanted to get car seats in the back, eventually buy a plane and have a magic carpet. So hopefully, carrying out his legacy this way is another great way to honor him.
Oh yeah.
Yep, 100%, and that's great. We're having some difficulties. I
Yeah,
don't know
with
Uh
what's up
Sasha.
oh.
with the live
Should we
stream
like
today.
invite him in here like how like sometimes like you did
Yeah.
with me, like invite into the video and then try and have him accept it?
Yeah, I did that just now, so
Okay. Um all right. So just start praying that'll get in here.
yep.
Oh wait.
So what was the most recent air show you went to?
The last one I went to was the Reno Air Races, which was the final one that
Yeah,
was out
darn.
here. And, John grew up going to the Reno Air Races. He and I only went once because, he went off in the
Yeah.
Marine Corps and we weren't living anywhere near Reno. But it was so special to get to go to the last air race and kind of honor him through that. And then I guess now they're going to be in Las Vegas. Is that
Uh,
right?
Yeah, we at the
Roswell, New
Las Vegas
Mexico.
Oh,
spaceport.
okay.
It's going to be happening in
Well,
April of next year.
awesome. So we're going to try to go to that. We've talked to some of people that he knew at Embry Riddle and some of his friends about maybe going to Oshkosh one of these years with the girls.
Yeah. You
Um,
should go
you
to
know,
the
it's a lot.
yeah, you should go to the Dayton Air Show in Dayton, Ohio. It's a pretty awesome show, especially because it's the birthplace of aviation and whatnot. They always do it really good.
That's cool.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Another show is Huntington Beach, which is actually coming up this weekend.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are either of you going to that?
I'll be there Saturday.
Yeah. Are
That's
you gonna
awesome.
go to the air show in Reno this weekend?
No, no, not this weekend. It's,
Dang.
yeah, my kids are 2 and 4, so
Oh,
it's like a journey to go anywhere with them.
Yeah.
But they do have like their ear set to muffle, at air shows. Like they had that since they were born. They also have headsets to go on the back of an aircraft, like the same kind that John had. It's, that green one. I can't remember the brand.
me neither, to be honest with you.
Yeah. It's like HK or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the old school
Yeah.
version, I think is what you're talking about.
Oh,
Yeah.
David Clark?
Yes. Yeah. DK. Sorry.
David
Or
Clark.
DC or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
David
DC. Yeah, DC.
Clark.
David Clark.
Yeah.
The old, I always call them the old garbage headsets because literally they'll break on you every second. And
Really? Oh,
that's exactly why I spent like a little less than $1,000 on a helmet. Because literally they keep failing. Like as soon as I went up on my on this one flight, it was actually, believe it or not, like one of my first flights. Even it was a flight in an R-44 helicopter, and then my headset kept failing, and I literally had to spend the rest of the flight without a headset, and it was horrible.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's
that was
rough.
not fun.
So I just, like, before my first lesson, I just bought a helmet, and there we went.
That's so cool. Yeah, I was using John's headset when I was doing some flight training. It always worked for me. So maybe he was working his magic and giving me some help.
Oh, oh yeah.
That's awesome. 100%. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Were we able to get Sasha
Uh,
on? I don't know if
um,
he like exits out and comes back or something.
I invited him again. I don't know. It's saying like he's unable. You're not supposed to use your phone. I mean, it will. You can use your computer. Excuse me, but the phone works better. I don't know why
The
it's.
phone will
Oh
work.
yeah.
Like if you
Yeah, the
request
phone
to
works.
join on an iPhone or something, then it will work.
We
I don't know.
we could always do another live with him one of these days too, if you guys are up for it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We can
Okay.
do
That
a part
works.
2 if it doesn't work.
But I'm open to any other answer or questions that you have about the foundation, about some of the people we've helped in the past and what they were pursuing. For example, we're not just for pilots. We actually extend out to, aircraft maintenance, air traffic controllers, like anyone that's related to aerospace, even engineering, especially engineering, I should say. Um, Anything that touches it, because it's all essential to get those planes in the air. And so we just want to help people, as many people as we can.
Yep. 100%. And walk us through a little bit about the past people that you guys helped and how they were kind of not able to do the things that they are able to do now. So, kind of talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so sometimes we can help people financially. I should say most of the time that's what we're aiming to do. When we can't do that, sometimes we just say, hey, like reach out to us if you have questions about like the military airspace, civilian airspace. We have contacts we can at least connect you with. So, for example, we had one recipient that we weren't able to help the first round, but we said, hey, can we connect you to anyone? And they said, yeah, can I talk to an Air Force, I believe C-130 pilot? And I was like, you got it. Let's find one. So I went out, put my feelers out there, and we were able to connect him with two C-130 pilots that were able to talk to him and help him out, at least through, connecting over the phone, which plays into that spirit of John and kind of the things that were important to him and his passion. But beyond that, the people that we've helped, a lot of them have been military just because, you know, we're word of mouth right now. So a lot of our people have been connected to either the Osprey community, the Marine Corps community, the Air Force community, and Army community, Army aviation. So it's not a requirement on the other side, but we do get a lot of that. Some of the people that we helped that were not in the military were college students that were pursuing like air traffic controlling, aeronautical engineering, stuff like that.
Wow. Spectacular. That is
That
amazing.
is awesome.
And
Yeah.
currently, I have a friend right now who is in the Army. It's currently he, he's supposed to be doing air traffic controller. Well, he originally, I think he applied to that, but now he's doing like HR stuff for the Army in Alaska, which is really interesting to know about.
Yeah, and I mean, you don't even need to have flight time when you're applying. So, like some of these scholarship places, they require that you already have your medical, your student pilot, something like that. We try to work with people because we know it's really hard to get off the ground. Even, paying for your medical and getting that stuff squared away is an expense. So there have been times when someone's just starting out and we're like, here is a $500 scholarship. This is, what you can use it for to at least get off the ground, whether it's ground school or a headset or a flight bag, whatever they need it for. And we work directly with the flight schools that they're going to, saying, these funds will go towards this for this student to make sure that they are going directly towards their training.
That's awesome. Really interesting too, and great.
Hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Did you
Fun.
have any other questions about like the Osprey program or military in general with John's training. I know John answered a lot of them. John and I were married all throughout flight school, so I can answer them from the perspective of someone sitting next to him while he was studying, if that's helpful.
Yeah. So yeah, talk a little bit about like what the Osprey Foundation is a little bit and walk us through like if there's applications to scholarships and things for aspiring aviators and also STEM programs too, if there's any STEM programs there.
Um, so there's not like an Osprey Foundation necessarily, but more like the V-22 program. Like if you have
Oh,
any
okay, excuse me,
questions
sorry.
about, yeah, I can answer it more as like a spouse's perspective and just someone that was alongside him when he was going through his training and stuff like that. Or if you have any questions about kind of like the transition from being a military pilot to a civilian pilot. I don't know if that's something your listeners might be interested in as well.
Yeah, let's kind of walk
Sure,
through
yeah,
that.
I'm a little interested in that if you don't mind telling us.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
so of course you're earning your flight hours, right? And when you're an Osprey pilot, you're actually learning both. You're earning both rotor time and fixed wing time, which is pretty great. But when people are getting out, especially the people that are in the rotor groups, like Hueys, Cobras, 53s, stuff like that, they might not have enough hours to transition directly into the civilian space and start applying at the airlines and stuff like that. So what we kind of do is try to partner with them. There's another group that we appreciate called RTAG. Rotors to Airline Group was originally what the acronym stood for. And that's something that we recommend people checking out. It helps fund people to get their certifications and hours because the funding that you receive when you separate from the military doesn't cover everything with your flight training. So it's wild to me that you can have these pilots that have, flown thousands of hours in a rotorcraft and they've done like combat deployments, like high stress situations. Like these are the guys you want in your cockpit flying your aircraft, but they don't have enough fixed wing hours. So our scholarship can help them as well as scholarships through our tag.
okay, interesting. Very good to know that.
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
yeah. So,
Yeah, so
go ahead, Brandon.
let's see. Sasha's not in here anymore, so I think we're gonna have to save that for another time. So
Yeah, we'll
sorry about
save
that.
that maybe for another time. Would you mind going ahead and hopping into our quick review here for our photos?
Yeah, that
Oh,
sounds great.
okay. So let's go ahead and get the images loaded up here. Just give me a second here.
Yeah, I love
Stand
all the
by.
models you have too back there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, these are all the bottom two are ones that John flew in the military, and then I have pictures behind it of him actually next to the
Oh
aircraft.
wow,
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
yeah.
Nice.
Love that
So and then
T-45 kit too.
oh yeah, yeah. Yep, that's the Goss Hawk. He flew that out in Kingsville. He was a Red Hawk out there.
Nice. Yet to
Yeah.
see one of those. Really, that's on my bucket list. I want to catch those.
Yeah, yeah, they're pretty awesome. I mean, there's a sign in Kingsville that says "We love jet noise" because it is noisy. They're
Yeah.
flying over your house. You have to like sign something. We bought a house out there, and you had to sign something saying like, "I'm aware there's jet noise," and we were like, "That's
Yes.
exactly why we're here."
Amen for that. Amen to whoever created that, because
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really don't like when people complain. It's too loud. Well, you bought the house,
You
you're living next there,
bought the
so not my
damn
problem.
house, dude.
Not
Like,
Yeah.
my problem.
Well, even like a New River out in North Carolina, they say like that's the sound of freedom, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
oh,
you hear the ospreys
yeah.
flying over all the time, and they have that really distinct sound.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool to
It
hear.
literally, it's pretty much just like a helicopter, but you can't hear the tail rotor.
That's a really good way to describe it. Yeah, I used to be able to tell what was flying over our house because we were under the flight line on Pendleton. But the only times I would get stumped is if two 53s were flying. Because if you have something as big as a 53 and there's two of them, it kind of almost sounds like an osprey. So I would run
Almost.
outside thinking, yeah, I would be like, is this an osprey? And I'd look up and I'd see
Oh,
53s, which are still
oh
Tail
super.
yeah,
rotor or
yeah.
no tail rotor? You got to play the game.
Yep.
Hmm.
Exactly. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Can I kind of hear a tail rotor? Yeah, but I'll risk it. Yep. Nope. It's a 53.
Yeah. And
Yep.
I live near Beale now. So we get
Oh.
I want to say they're 47s. Like I saw one 47 kind of flying around at one point. I don't think that they're actually based here. I think it was just probably doing a cross country or something.
Yeah.
But
So out at
that was super
Beale
cool.
Air Force Base, speaking of that, actually, their air show in up in Marysville, correct?
Yes.
So they're having their open house show next year on June 7th and 8th.
Oh, well, the anniversary of Swift 1 is June 8th, so I think there's no better place for us to be.
Nice.
Mhm.
Cool.
Yeah, you guys should ask if you can set up a booth there. One of the, I don't even know if at Miramar on Thursday, one of the public affairs officers, if I'm not mistaken, well, somebody who works at Beale was kind of reviewing or taking a note on a Miramar, which I thought was really interesting because I told him there's a lot of great performers out in the airshow industry that you guys should invite, like Adam Baker, Michael Goulian, Rob Holland, all that fun stuff, Redline, the Patriots jet team, although they may be performing in Sonoma that weekend, so it'll work out. I got some great suggestions for that show, and I really wanted to help them out, so I kind of talked to her a little bit, and she helped me with a lot of cool things, so wanted to say thank you to her for that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it sure was.
That
So,
is.
did John have a favorite air show?
Reno Air Race is definitely because I mean his family took him there ever since he was a kid.
Oh, wow.
So he would always go there every year. He'd go with his friends. They would take pictures and videos, and he had his binoculars, which are in a display case with his other treasures.
That's
I'll take him
literally
out when we
exactly what
go.
I would do. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We have all of his treasures kept safe for. He has two daughters. Like I said, they love being in this room and learning about their dad.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's great. I really do applaud them for doing that because you should learn more about a family member that gave their life for this country. So I wanted to say to them that I'm proud of them for doing that and proud of you for raising them correctly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, of course.
My,
We both, we too are proud of you, literally. And you're
yep,
hearing that from somebody who literally comes from a military family.
yep,
So
me
literally,
too.
I thank you for that.
Well,
Yeah.
we carry them forward with us, their story doesn't end when they pass away. It continues to be written as they're ingrained in your life. My life is
Oh,
forever changed and it always will be.
yeah, true. And that's really great.
100%.
Percent. Yep.
Oh yeah. So
Oh,
I got
yeah.
a couple images here, if you don't mind me showing.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, and also I got a couple questions about these, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about these here. Are these all the models of the different aircraft that John flew?
Yes. Yeah, so that's what's above my head here. So these top
Let me go
two,
ahead and
or
put
sorry,
this in the frame here
yeah, this
for all
top
the
row, he didn't
YouTube to see.
fly. He got to be at the controls of one of these before. It's one of the S&Js.
Ooh,
Oh,
Uh,
the Texans.
love the
yeah.
Texans.
Yeah, I got him a flight in that one year for his birthday, and he convinced the pilot to let him be at the controls for a little bit. So technically he got to fly it, which he was just so happy. And then those
So
top two were actually from Sasha, gifts to John that he always had on his desk everywhere we went.
I was just about to ask that. I was just gonna say, so wait, did John get the chance to fly in a Super Hornet
No,
or something?
no, but he did fly the jet, the T-45. But near the end of his training, when he was out in Kingsville, he was offered, hey, do you want to transition to Ospreys? Is that something you're interested in? And he was like, you know what? The Osprey was my first choice throughout flight school and flying with a crew. That was the other thing because, it can get kind of lonely when you're by yourself up in a jet, even though it's super cool. And he loved being able to fly with people that shared his passion for aviation.
Awesome.
Wow, that's
Yeah, and
fantastic.
this
So
is
give
a
us a little.
cockpit for the Osprey too. This was always
Dude,
above
no
his
way.
desk.
Okay.
Yeah, so he would be chair flying, and here's John's chair that he would use for chair flying, and he has his flight simulator set up here. And he would literally, as you guys do, be sitting there in between flights, just like practicing, going through procedures in his head. And
Yeah.
yeah, he loved it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So can you give us a little explanation about this as well? Here, let me pull this up. This. So this is
Oh,
his
yeah.
area that you were just telling us
Yeah. So,
about, like the
so
chair flying area.
this is John's room. So I have like a display case set up with his treasures in it. So I have like his flight suits, his flight jacket. For his kids, Ellie likes to come in here and touch his flight suit and actually get to hold it and play with it. We got a hanger with his wings on it.
Has any of your kids actually got the chance to like wear his suit before?
Yeah, Ellie likes to play with it. She's mostly interested in his actual gear. So she'll come over here and kind of like turn the flashlight on and off. They removed anything out of here that would be harmful for kids.
Oh,
Which
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So she likes to play with it, put the mask on her face and kind of just play with like whatever's in the pockets and check it out. That's always what she goes to first.
That is so cute.
Yeah, but
Alrighty, so
Yeah.
Yeah, but
last
it's, all of his treasures with flying, you get the standard issue sunglasses when you're a naval aviator.
so here's
And
another
then,
photo of
yeah.
his chair flying
Yep.
room you were telling us about. Okay, so explain to us what are the images above the
Yes.
chair and whatnot?
Yeah, so these are through Squadron Posters. So squadronposters.com, or if you want to Google it. And I would get him one of these every time he finished one of the legs in his training. So all of the aircraft here, he has one for Embry-Riddle, and then he has one for the T-6 in Florida. He was a shooter. Then he flew the T-45 Goshawk in Kingsville. He was a Red Hawk. And then he learned to hover in Whiting Field in Florida. And that was the TH-57 Bravo and Charlie. They train him both. And then he came back to VT-35 in Corpus Christi, Texas with the T-44. And I made a mistake on this one. I guess there's two versions of the T-44, and I actually got him the older version. So, I gave it to him and he was like, this is great. He's like, it is the older version, but I love it. And then, he learned to till in New River, North Carolina. And then he was briefly a moonlighter in San Diego at Miramar before he went
Oh,
over to become,
really?
yeah, yeah, he was, which is a reserve squadron, but he was over there for a short period of time. And then he went to the world famous Purple Foxes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Who
did
can't
he
forget
ever?
about the purple foxes? What can I
Yep,
say?
Yeah, oh
100%.
my gosh. Yeah, the history of the squadron. He just kept saying when he was studying, for flight school, he's like, I want to get to California. I got to get us to California. Because he wanted to be a purple fox.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's great.
I'm.
Did he know? So
It,
sorry about that. Did he
it's all
ever
good.
know anyone from like the Wolf Pack down there at Miramar, the squadron that's based?
I'm sure he did. Yeah, I'm sure he did. And there's so many people, that have reached out since he passed away, and they'll send in stories and
Yeah,
pictures and little tidbits, and I save them all, for his kids and for me to be able to refer back to, and as they grow up, they'll get to know him through that.
that's great. And I did that too. I did that after a few days. I read about it, and I was like, just wanted to say I give my condolences to the five Marines that
Oh,
passed away a few
oh
days
yeah.
ago. Semper
Same here.
Fi, the salute emoji, and the flag too. So yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
everybody, oh,
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
what were you gonna? Oh, what
Oh,
were you gonna
I
say?
was gonna say I gotta leave in a few minutes to pick up my kids. So,
Oh,
but
okay.
Okay.
I've
Yeah.
appreciated getting to talk to you both so much. I mean, like I said, John would have loved to have met you guys. He worked one air show with the Foxes that was in Texas.
Oh,
And
wow.
I talked to him at the end of the show, and he was like, man, it was so cool. He was in this like blazing hot cockpit in the Texas heat, and he's like so hot in there in his like flight suit and everything, but he's like, I did not mind. Like, it was the best day. So if you
That's
guys had
great.
approached him, he would have loved it.
Yep. And me too. I really wish I could have done that. And yeah. So everybody, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you so much, Amber.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, everyone. Thank you, Amber. If you're still in here, thank you, John.
Yeah, thank
Literally.
Yeah,
you guys so much.
Hopefully,
and
you learned a
apologize
little
to
bit more
Sasha.
about Captain Sachs and the Captain Sachs Foundation. I really appreciate you guys coming on to talk about this and the impact that this has on our community and whatnot. So I thank you a lot for that.
Yep. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Amber, for coming on, and we hope to see you soon, and maybe at some future air shows.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
I would love that. All right, guys. Well, keep in touch. I'll send you guys some swag if you have a mailing address you're comfortable with sharing.
Okay.
We'll get some patches off to you guys.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
for
very
sure.
much. You are the
All
All
right.
right.
best, Amber.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
talk
Yep,
to you
you are
guys
the
soon.
best. All
All
right,
right,
bye.
lady.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
Amber.